London now to discuss this lingering problem that seems to be a hydra-headed one. The Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, the TUC, have embarked on a strike, Daniel. A strike today has commenced in Nigeria after, several warnings were given to the government to, address some of those concerns of labor, but that seems to have fallen on deaf ears. We do remember that there was this committee that was set up by Mr. President Bwala Tinubu, and that was chaired by Dele Alake at some point before it transited into several other hands. Are you surprised about the outcomes now that this is what we're degenerating into?
Well, thank you for having me. Personally, not to denigrate the labor union, but I think that the whole idea, the whole drama playing is theatrics. I personally believe that the labor, they are in tandem with the government. I also personally believe that the labor union are playing on the minds of Nigerians. I have personally, from when they started this strike warning and all of that, been following them through to see if they keep to their word, whether they are target oriented, whether they are also purposeful in those planned strike or industrial action. And what I noticed over the months is that each time there is a need for, let's say, I don't want to use a loose word to say what they want to be settled, but each time there is a particular need, they send some threat, they have a sit down with the government, and then after they talk, they will now say they are extending the strike. If you look at the characteristics of the current labor and the way and manner in which they are approaching their strike thing, and you juxtapose that with previous labor unions' stance on matters, you will know that this one appear to, and that's why I said not to denigrate them, appear to be either compromised or they are non-resolute in their way of doing things. When you have given warning that you're going on strike more than 5 times, nobody takes you serious. All over the world, when you see labor union, when they give a warning strike, can be a day or two. By the time they say they are going on strike, the government will have to listen to them. Whether you come to the UK or you go to the US, once a labor union say they are going to go on strike, you will know that anytime they go on strike, the economy, the impact on the economy will be negative. But these ones will say they will go on strike, they will have 1 or 2 sittings, they will have a conversation. And if you want to borrow the words of people on the street, they will say the people will be assuaded, they will assuage their feelings one way or the other. And then they will now say they are extending it further. Now, in a nutshell,
what do you mean? I'm sorry, Daniel. When you say that they will, massage. Did you say they will massage their egos?
Yeah, well, the common language in the street could be massage their common ego, but I sort of have a feeling that there is a compromise somewhere. I also have this, I believe this theory that, there is this theory of governance where they say you create a problem, provide solution, and then you look like a warrior. I mean, you look like a hero. Sorry, that's the right word. You create a problem. It's a concept of power. You create a problem. Let's say you've been redundant, you have not been active, there is no result showing in what you are doing, administratively speaking. So what you do is you create a problem, provide the solution, everybody will clap to you as someone who has just solved a problem. This is what I see the labor union doing, because they have not been able to make any significant progress for over 7 months that they've been saying they are going on strike. The way industrial union do, the way labor unions do, they are quite clear and concise about what they want. Very clear. Now, go through the negotiation process. If they shift, it will be apparent to the Nigerian people we are shifting from this point to the other, and this is the basis. It will be understood by their members, and most of the times understood by the masses, because they are a representative of various, trade union. In this one,
Dan,
if I ask
Daniel,
you,
if you cast your mind back, you will remember that this is the same labor union that was able to get the government to at least sit with them when they went to the National Assembly to protest there, brought down the gates, went inside the National Assembly, protested, presented their front, and it was accepted by some of the officials of the National Assembly, to which they said they will convey that message to the leadership of the National Assembly, which they did.
So here's my point. From that last protest in question, and the conversation they had with the leaders of the National Assembly to this moment, how long has it been? Surely it is more than 1 month. The answer is, has there been any appreciable progress? Was there any shift of position by the executive branch or the National Assembly? It looks like a hoax, like a drama. Let's do this and we will not be seen to be quiet or redundant. We'll be seen to be working. But in actual fact, what we do or what we're doing does not have a consequential effect. In those days when labor union go on strike, the federal government will know what they would have lost in 1 day. And the federal government will be brought to their knees. Does this government appear to be believing the labor union? That's the question I
Are
pose
you
to.
saying this government doesn't care?
This government does what it wants. The labor union has not shifted, has not moved this government a bit. In all of the meetings, is it not this government procuring judgment from court, order from court, stopping the labor from going on strike? Now, the leverage this government has over the labor union is that there is an order of court that they shouldn't go on strike. So what the government can do is to intimidate them, to say you're violating the order of the court, and then begin to bring application for constant proceedings. When have we come to
what
this
Labour
point?
and TUC is doing now, what the NLC and TUC is doing now, is illegal according to the court's judgment.
If the court order says they should not move on strike, they should not go on strike. If there is an order of court like that, until that order is set aside or overturned, that subsisting order is the law, and going on strike will be carrying out illegal activities. It will be like there is an order for a curfew duly issued by the government and somebody violates it. Now, but because the order came through the court, the federal government cannot arrest anybody there. They will have to still come back to the same court and file for contempt proceedings, so that the court will make a consequential order that A, B, and C can now be remanded in prison, or let them come and show reason why they have not obeyed, why they shouldn't be sent to prison for violating the court order. So the government cannot take laws into its hand to say there was an order you didn't follow, therefore we'll arrest you. It will then mean that the government is also resorting to self-help. But the point I'm saying is, this labor union does not look serious. That's the summary I'm saying. Because if it looks serious, they will bring the government to its knees on their demand. Let me even ask you.
Are you speaking in terms of comparison now to the Adams Oshomole-led NLC or the Ayuba Waba-led NLC?
You know, the last time we had a very vibrant NLC, it was the Adams Oshomole. Now, there are people who could also tell you that even during Adams Oshomole, there were 1 or 2 overtures. But what you cannot deny is that during Adams Oshomole, if labor unions say they are going on strike, however stubborn the government knows that the labor union is serious. Then the masses also sympathize with the union and cooperate with them. Now, this labor union, from Wabara's time to this moment, I have not seen. In fact, Wabara's period is even much more better. If you look at this one, for all of the time that they say they are going on strike, the highest you get from government is that government will say, please don't go on strike. Then at the 11th hour, they'll call them for a meeting. Last 6 hours, then they will now say they called up. Nigerian people keep wondering, why is it that you say you go on strike when you have a meeting with government, you call it up? Is there some, shaking of hands going there? So it's like a situation where you have a need, you now put up a strike, and then you do it for 1 day, they call you up, you shake hands, and then you say, we're calling it up. If the labor union is senior, when they say A, B, and C is what we're demanding, and they can establish to the people that we've had 1 or 2 sittings in which we make apparent and clear our position, and that the federal government proposal has not been considered enough to make us shift our position, therefore we're going on strike. That number of days that they say they're going to strike, they will fulfill it. If they say it is 3 weeks, they will stay for 3 weeks, because then the government will not hold them liable, because we have given you enough time for you to remedy the situation you didn't do. We must complete our strike. But this strike that we're talking that had commenced today, I beat my chest to tell you before Friday they will call it off after 1 or 2 meetings. So that's why people are looking at it as if you're using it as a negotiating tactic. But the overall interest of the people you represent is not, factored in the whole situation. So I don't take them serious. Quite frankly, when they started this thing, I was following through, and then at some point, I lost them. They lost me, and I now felt that, look, it is the same system. They are all together with government playing a script, a drama. That's the truth of the matter.
You believe that
in my
NLC
opinion.
is in the same camp with the government? That has
Yes.
never been heard of.
There was a time when it was alleged, it was reported that the Court of Appeal was going to give a judgment on a certain day. The same day the Court of Appeal said they were going to give judgment in presidential election was the day Labor Union said they were going on strike on that day. So what could have happened then would have been on that day the court would not sit because Labor will go on strike so that judgment would not be delivered. There are certain conducts and activities of the Labor Union that is quite suspicious. Even this strike that they have gone on today, is it not because their leader in Imo was harassed? Will Nigerian people take you serious? Yes, will Nigerian people take you serious? One of your members was harassed by police. That's the reason you're going on strike. But if he is not harassed, you are not going to go on strike. You will continue to be having conversation. I want to ask the Nigerian people one fundamental question. From when they started this conversation around we will go on strike till today, what progress have they made? They've been approached by the National Assembly. They've been approached by the executive. What progress have they made? When you are a union that it is believed whenever you are going on industrial action, the country will be go to its knees, and you have said or you have tried this for more than 5 times, nothing has happened, they will never take you serious. That is what is happening. And me, I will never take the labor union serious until I see a strike carried out by the labor union that has no connotation, affiliation, or connection to anything, and that nothing stops them from continuing on that strike until those demands are made. You say you are going on strike or A, B, and C is done. A, B, and C is not done. They call you for a meeting and you called it up. Every time you're called upon after a meeting, you call up. Meanwhile, the demand has not been made. What is happening is something fishy. That's what the Nigerian people should be asking.
So then what will be your own final words, the antidote to this kind of situation, such that Labour doesn't appear to you to be taking one step forward and taking 2 steps back?
I want to plead with Labour to be honest with Nigerians. Let us know what exactly they are doing with the executive. That's what I would say as my final word, that the Labour Union should come clean with the Nigerian people as to what exactly are they pursuing. And if indeed they are pursuing clearly defined objective, why is it that for past 7 months that they say we will go, we shifted, nothing has happened, and they keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result?
And you believe that this is going to be the same, script that will play out, and there will be no results at the end?
Certainly, the federal government has taken them by the jugular. They don't. You see, their conduct suggests that the federal government would bully them into agreeing with the federal government because they have been found, in my view, to be not serious with the threats that they said they were going to do. And if you now add it up with the fact that there is an order of court that says they shouldn't even go, and they violate the order of court, then that's a different ballgame altogether. They have to be serious.
Dan, just before we let you go, you did mention that you do not see the PDP, your party, being an opposition party anymore. Why do you say that?
There is no opposition in Nigeria today. There are individuals who are patriotic enough to hold the government to account and to interrogate the government policy. But as a party, PDP has not been playing opposition. PDP has not intervened on any policy issue of this government. You see, people have to realize that when elections are over, you must learn how to switch. It is like you are switching from channel A in TV to go to channel B. You cannot, after election is ended, you still continue to play channel A and thinking you are in B. That's why sometimes I look at people who think you should still be somewhere saying Tinubu's drug certificate, Tinubu's drug. That is mundane thing. That is laziness. They have a manifesto, and this manifesto has not been, adhered to. So many things in the manifesto have not been carried out. They have incompetent ministers, left, right, and center. They have made so many promises that have not been fulfilled. And there are concomitant effects of the impact in the life of the Nigerian people. Our duty as patriotic citizens to say, Mr. President, you say you do A, B, and C. You didn't do. In our view, it is because A, B, and C lack DC and F. That's democracy of opposition. Has PDP ever issued that? PDP at the moment is like a subsidiary company of a parent company, APC. Because
what are you going to do about that? Because that's clearly your party, and you have accepted the doctrines and the workings of the PDP. Are you going to jump ship?
I am not a member of any political party at the moment. I think I consider myself, by default, I'm a PDP member, but I consider myself independent. Independent means you will have the independent thoughts to agree with the governing party if the policy works, to disagree if it doesn't work, to agree with your own party if it works, to disagree if it doesn't work. When you are a party religiously committed party member, it means you are bound by the tenet, rules, and regulation of the party. As at this moment, the party looks fragmented, and I cannot be bound. Imagine like you leave a parent company, you came to another company, and then that company that you came into has now been acquired and taken over by the parent company because subsidiary. Do you think at my level now, I should belong to a subsidiary company when I left a parent company? I would rather stay as a patriotic citizen, as an independent politician. That's what I consider myself at the moment. Independent politician. So I can hold government to account or praise the government if they do the right thing. And this is where I stand at the moment. PDP has not played position since the election. No policy issue, no nothing. Even when there is apparent disregard to law and order by the governing party, PDP was quiet because the
I'm
key
not sure.
members.
I'm not sure, Daniel, if you heard about this whispers that's been making the rounds around town that your former party, your ex-party, the APC, want you back. Will you accept?
It is only God that knows where I will be tomorrow. It's only
That's a
God
good
that
place
knows
to
where I'll
let it
be.
rest.
You know, some
That's a good
people.
place to let it rest, Daniel. I must sincerely thank you so much all the time. How do the Indians say? They say namaste. But we must sincerely thank you, Daniel, for always giving us that opportunity to speak with you and to lay the issues bare as they are. Many
Thank you as
thanks
always.
indeed.
I
And
appreciate.
say hello to London.
Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you very much.
And that's where we draw the curtains. People who are watching us from across the world, you're watching on Control TV. We're here to bring the best of interviews to you and the best of programming. I'm Gimbo Umar, and we're signing out now for Front Row Politics.